Varilia from the Food Companies Group. Here I want to explain company calculation from the years 2016 until 2018. Companies PT CK consists of 5 ratios. Okay, to shorten the time, let's get started. The first, liquidity ratio. This ratio shows how many times short-term debt obligation can be converted by cash and other current assets. To obtain liquidity ratio, calculation by current ratio, quick ratio, cash ratio, operating cash ratio, and working capital to revenue ratio. Conclusion: calculation of liquidity ratio, namely calculation with the biggest result in the calculation of current ratio with an average ratio of 317% because the company is able to pay off the company's obligation. And the lowest calculation in cash ratio with an average ratio of 3% due to cash declines every year is not able to pay its obligation. The second, solvency ratio, used to measure the percentage of the amount of funds originating from debt, both short-term and long-term debt. To obtain the calculation of the solvency ratio by total debt to total equity ratio, total debt to total asset ratio, long-term liability to equity ratio, long-term liability to total asset, time interest earned, and operating cash flow to interest ratio. Conclusion: solvability ratio calculation. The largest calculation by means of long-term liability to total asset obtain an average ratio of 3%. Because the total assets are able to pay the company's long-term debt. The low calculation is operating cash flow to interest ratio because the direct cash flow obtained from operating activities is not able to cover the interest expense obtained. The third, activity ratio, uses to assess the efficiency or effectiveness of the company in the utilization of all resources or assets owned by a company. This unit of ratio uses day and percentage. To get the calculation of this activity ratio by means of two calculations: percentage calculation by Y of receivable turnover, inventory turnover, payable turnover, fixed asset turnover, total asset turnover, working capital turnover, and calculation of day by means. Average collection period of receivable, average day sale outstanding of inventory, average day payable outstanding. The conclusion from the calculation of the ratio of activity in two ways still obtain unstable result. There is a decrease and increase every year. PT CK is still not efficient at turning its resource around. The fourth, profitability ratio or comparison to find out the company's ability to get profit from earning related to sell, asset, and equity. To obtain the calculation of margin ratio, return on asset, return on equity. The conclusion of the calculation of profitability ratio PT CK is unstable from 2016 until 2018 because the company is still unable to generate profit from the company's sale. And lastly, market ratio. Ratio indicate how expensive a stock is cheap, used to help investors find stock that have the potential for large dividend before investing in share. To obtain the solvency ratio calculation by earning per share, dividend payout ratio, yield dividend, price to earning ratio, market to book value ratio. The conclusion from the calculation of the market ratio, the company's PTCK obtained less than maximum result on stock price because net income declined each year, which affected the price and stock of the company. So many video presentation from me. Wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.